When would that?
Next week, I believe, is the 16th, is the next Parks agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Eric White, 4290 Machosen Road. Both Marie Therese and Rands are completely correct in their stance of that we have to support Machosen farmers, but also in supporting Machosen farmers, if we can't get our irrigation pieces from China, or you know, the paper to package the seeds that we get from Machosen farms and stuff like that, it's a real difficult balance that really needs to be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, I won't ask twice. We will go to the adoption of the minutes.
Move adoption.
Moved by Councillor McKinnon, second by Councillor Kahakawala. Discussion. Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Receipt of the Public Works minutes.
I just had a couple of changes to the minutes. So, first one would be, find the minutes.
Page 9.
Page 9. Thank you. It was Superintendent Todd Preston. It was number 2B, and it's right at the near the bottom. It said where he said that we're looking at 1 police officer for every 875 residents, so 6 officers and 1 support staff. He also actually said 2 support staff. So that
Yes, he did.
just needs to be changed there. And the other one is on page 13. There was a motion that it says right near the bottom. It says moved and seconded by Councillor Little and McKinnon that staff look into temporary creative parking solutions around the village core. I really, when I brought that up, I was really referring to the school, to the Machosen school ground and area, not like as below it says action item. It suggests the cafe parking lot and the broken paddle, but that wasn't the intent of the motion that I had suggested. So can we just change village core to school
Okay, is it?
The-
Yeah.
Motion.
Right.
in the motion?
Yeah.
The only problem,
understand your intent.
the only problem with that was that I moved it based on that it was the school that we were looking at, of course, but there were overflow to other areas, like the Machosen Business Park across the street where there's no gates. And so the parking that was availed to the school is also across there, and that's why I was talking about a sort of a global, not global, but a village assessment of parking. That's why I moved it that way. That wasn't your original intent, but that was my understanding of parking issues at the school relate to parking issues at the Machosen Business Center and parking issues at the Machosen Cafe.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well, but I think it might be better dealt with to deal with Councillor Epp's concerns if in the action item we simply remove the clause that reads particularly Machosen Cafe parking lot and parking lot where the broken paddle is located. In other words, when you're looking at parking issues around the school that Councillor Epp is concerned about, it's also useful to look at parking issues in the core area. So we could keep the moved and seconded as it was, and if we just adjusted the action item by removing the second clause.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable with that because
Yeah.
minutes are minutes, and as stated and reported. So I think what Councillor McKinnon has suggested is a good solution to this.
Okay, I think that
Is
would,
that acceptable?
Yeah.
sure.
Okay,
That-
Council
it's
agreed?
Easier.
Everyone agreed?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay.
So
So,
you were-
otherwise, I move receipt of the minutes as amended. Well, actually, no.
So this is just moving receipt of the minutes. You'll adopt them with these changes at your next committee meeting.
Oh, okay.
So it's good that you're bringing it up at this meeting,
Sounds fine to me, so I'll just change that to move receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Epps, seconded by Councillor Kahakawilla. Discussion. Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we get to the mayor's report. Whoa, this is sad news. There will be no Machosen Day. The Machosen Day Committee has determined that there is insufficient parking and that we will be unable to meet the requirements that our own successes have generated. We're in essence a victim of our own success on this. It's been determined that we need 1,000 parking spaces based on the last few years, and those parking spaces need to be able to move fluidly. We found that out the hard way too. And doing an analysis of our available parking using both the school and this field that's out here beside the bike jump park, the maximum that we could put in, even if we altered the fence and had a flow through at the school, is 310. So that doesn't come even close to what we're going to be required. And having been through this a number of times in the past where parking has caused a lot of issues and soured a day for people that otherwise would have had a good time here, the committee decided that it was necessary to cancel Machosen Day for this year while they are pursuing other parking options. So they tried to secure parking across from the Knights of Columbus, ex-Knights of Columbus field, weren't able to do so in time, and I mean, I probably should say that we thought we had everything handled with the egress and exit from the Knights of Columbus field, but then unfortunately the Knights of Columbus sold the field, and we couldn't come to an agreement with the new owner again in time. So we're not saying that there will be no Machosen Day next year, and the committee will be working quite hard and doing its best to try and find some solution to the parking, but as it stands right now, there will be no Machosen Day per se. There are initiatives being looked at to have some form of a summer fest or through the arts. Sherry, perhaps you could from MACA, have you heard of anything concrete on that one?
They are planning on having a Canada Day event, or they haven't really formulated the final plan, but they're going to have some music and things going on by the school, and they have also put the word out to various community groups that they might like to participate as well in their own space. So I think the Equestrian Society, I think, is going to do something that day.
We were asked. I don't have any feedback.
Okay, and the Community Association and the various others to see if they can just get something kind of going in the kind of a low-key event going around the community on Canada Day.
Yes, and we also have another initiative that is a Ukraine Benefit Day that will take place on June 12th. Is that it, Johnny? So I don't know, Johnny, did you want to
That's right.
speak to that?
Just a group of people thought it was useful for an opportunity for Machosen residents to come together. It will be aimed at Machosen residents, so we will not be promoting this outside of Machosen. We've coordinated with the market so that we slightly overlap with the market so that we can mutually benefit in terms of attendance. It will be a sort of entertainment 2 hours from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on June the 12th, and we'll be providing tents and chairs, but no refreshment to that. So we're hoping to pass the hat, raise some money for Ukrainian refugees, and at the same time give Machosen people the opportunity to come together and interact, and we're hoping you'll adopt us.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
So there we are. There will be some Machosen events, and it really is sort of in keeping with what we had discussed with the Machosen Day Committee, and that is, you know, perhaps finding a way of returning more to our roots and downscaling it a little bit, because it just got so popular that whereas it was a really good way of showcasing our community, it was getting quite a management issue in terms of dealing with our limited resources and volunteers. So maybe something good will come from this in terms of maybe a more downscaled Maiden Machosen event the way it used to be. But anyway, that's up for another year. So go ahead, Councillor Att.
I just wanted to mention that the Machosen Community Association will be holding the Mighty Machosen Garage Sale, which is a pretty big community event as
Yes.
well as a lot of fun. And that will be on the last weekend in May, with collections are starting on the long weekend.
Yeah. And that's another good thing to see.
It
too.
is, yeah.
Councillor McKinnon.
And one more, we haven't entirely given up yet on the 22nd annual Machosen Day 5K. So there may be an event on Machosen Day if you're up for a 5K road run.
Good. Councillor Little.
Not sure about that yet.
The council liaison for the Machosen Day Committee, and we did meet, and it was a very difficult decision regarding canceling or putting forth the recommendation to council the Machosen Day events, and we're going to spend the time that we have September to when I guess the end of the election, and the next council will take over, reimagining Machosen Day. And not only looking at the parking issue, but how we can bring it into a smaller, more community-minded event rather than such a large event. So, and I thank all the members of the committee. There's even committee members from outside of Machosen that used to live here. Mary Gidney is still on that committee, and gives her history and forethought to that. So I thank them.
So next item is business arising, the Public Works Committee recommendations, the first one being road safety. Councillor F.
Getting there.
50.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that council directs staff to install a 40-kilometer-an-hour sign with flashing lights to see if that slows traffic. If not, the discussion will come back to a future meeting. These lighted signs will be installed at all the road entrances to the village core on the current 40-kilometer-an-hour signposts.
I second that.
If they make
Smile when you say that.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Little. Discussion. Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next one is the emergency response Flesh Road Bridge.
Yes, I move that council consider engaging a professional engineer to conduct an assessment of Hull Bridge at a cost of approximately $4,000 to $5,000.
Seconded by Councillor Little. Discussion. Councillor Hagawilla.
Yeah, one of the things that I had raised with the with this motion was to the engineering report we need, but also to include that with real-time costing.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Sorry. That when we get the engineer's report back, it also comes with costing.
For repairs?
Yes.
Yeah. Can an engineer do that? Oh, sorry, I've spoken out of turn there.
No,
I
that's
think
fair.
an engineer doesn't talk about costing, an engineer talks about the framework of the construction of the bridge, then they send that to somebody else who,
Al won't be able to do that.
oh,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
our,
Al is engaging the engineer to bring forward the assessment, and then Al can bring forward the
okay,
cost.
so that wouldn't affect this motion then?
No.
But just as a notation, though, that to have that information come back when the engineer's report comes.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we go to the Finance Committee recommendations, the general surplus transfers.
This is something we do each year. On page 17, I move that the amounts shown in the attached schedule, that's on page 18, be transferred to or from general surplus to the specific reserves shown, and that's all as per existing policy.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Seconded by Councillor Epp. Discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item C, which is the resolution. Councillor McKinnon?
Yes.
Councillor McKinnon.
Quite right, thank you very much. So I move that council support the resolution recognizing and celebrating World Oceans Day 2022 and the advancement of ocean conservation in Canada, which has a whole bunch of whereases that terminate in therefore be it resolved that Metchosin recognizes the 30th anniversary of World Oceans Day on June the 8th, 2022, and supports national and international efforts to protect 30% of the ocean by 2030.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Hakawila. Discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we have the license of occupation. Councillor Hakawila.
I move that council authorize the mayor and CAO to execute the renewal documents and requirements to obtain a license of occupation 1408722 for section 28.
Seconded by Councillor Epp. Discussion? Councillor Little.
So, I don't remember seeing this before. Is this an every so often we have to renew this? If every 5 years, 4 years? I don't remember seeing it in our term.
10 years. Typically it's every 10 years.
Okay. And so, does this require, in terms of the renewal, because I think it requires some discussion, does it not?
So yes, this one is time sensitive,
Mm.
and the province has given us the date of May 29th.
Hmm.
This is for our existing trails, and this is to create this license of occupation so that we continue to have the ability for our residents to traverse on the trails, and it's already recognized in the documents in regards to the treaty settlement lands and the identification. It's expired, and it expired during that process. The terms of the final treaty have not taken place, and the final treaty will null and void this agreement, but it has to be in place so that we can have our residents traversing on our trails.
Okay. It just seems like it's a bit rushed, May 5th, and then we've got to make a decision May 29th. It just is the way it is, I guess, right? Okay. Okay.
So, further discussion? Let's call the question then. Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we have the financial plan adoption. Councillor McKinnon.
I move that council consider adoption of the financial plan 2022 to 2026, bylaw number 677.
Seconded by Councillor Epp. Discussion?
Yep.
Those in favor? Discussion?
I-
Councillor Little.
Yeah, so I will vote in favor of this motion. I have made some very pointed comments, and I posed some difficult questions to Councillor McKinnon as finance chair, and I appreciate your honesty and your transparency. So I still have some questions, but in the effort of team spirit, and I know that if I voted against it, I'd be voted down anyway, so I will support this, but I thank you for your honesty and answering most of my questions. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we have the tax rate bylaw.
I move that council consider adoption of the tax rate 2022 bylaw number 678.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Hakawila. Discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. That ends the business of the day. Now we have the question period. We have time. Any questions to council? Shelley?
I don't have a question. At this meeting and this last meeting, there were quite a few giggles about Councillor Epps' proposal to have flashing speed radar signs in the core. I do support Councillor Epps' move on doing such because quite a few of my equestrian peers have had very, very almost tragic incidents happen where people race by
So just,
Is that fun? Can I answer her? Oh, you answer?
oh yeah, go ahead, sure.
I was just gonna say that the giggles come from, as we know, there are some people on council that don't agree with lower speed limits, and my original proposal was to make those signs 30 kilometers an hour, and I kinda got shot down.
Yeah.
I was written.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if people still aren't, well, we'll see how they work with the 40.
Well, they bring attention to myself. I don't speed, but I do sometimes go a little more than the speed zone, and it is a reminder. So I'm hoping it does work.
Yeah, and
So-
we have ordered them, so I'm not sure how it'll take, but it should be pretty soon.
Yeah, thank you, Shelley. I just was going to make that clarification that council was certainly not opposed to the flashing signs. They were just somewhat concerned that Councillor Rep wanted to reduce the speed limit to slower than a horse. So
Yes. Yeah.
okay. Is there a question, Avril, or anyone else? Yeah. No other questions? Well, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Kalakwala, second by Councillor McKinnon. Discussion. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Thanks everybody for coming. Good to have an